The arrival. The massive cruiser Earth and Spirit dropped out of hyperspace with a flash of blue light, its sleek hull gleaming under the distant stars. Inside, Captain Zora Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the looming space station that served as the central hub for the Galactic Games. Quite the shindig they've got going on here, she mused, watching swarms of alien ships darting around the station like fireflies on a summer night. Her first officer, a towering man named Deacon, chuckled. You'd think they were preparing for war, not some fancy Olympics. The Galactic Games were the premier sporting event in the known universe, a test of strength, endurance, and skill that drew competitors from thousands of worlds. This year marked humanity's debut in the Games, a fact that had sent ripples of curiosity and concern throughout the galactic community. As the Earth and Spirit approached the docking bay, a shrill voice crackled over the comms. Unidentified vessel, state your business immediately. Zara raised an eyebrow. This is Captain Chen of the TEV Earth and Spirit. We're here for the Galactic Games. Didn't you get the memo? There was a long pause before the voice returned, noticeably less hostile. Apologies, Captain. We weren't expecting you so soon. Please proceed to Docking Bay 17. As they maneuvered towards their assigned bay, Deacon leaned in close to Zora. They sound nervous. Think they've heard about us. Zara smirked. Oh, I'm sure they've heard something. Whether it's accurate, well, that's another story. The ship settled into the docking bay with a gentle thud, and Zara led her team of athletes towards the airlock. As the door hissed open, they were greeted by a delegation of aliens, each more bizarre than the last. At the forefront stood a being that looked like a cross between a praying mantis and a giraffe, its iridescent exoskeleton gleaming under the station's lights. It bowed slightly, its mandibles clicking as it spoke. Welcome, humans, to the 874th Galactic Games. I am High Coordinator Zixtal. We are honored by your presence. Zara stepped forward, offering a crisp salute. The honor's all ours, High Coordinator. We're excited to participate. Zixtal's compound eyes seemed to narrow. Yes, well, I trust you understand the gravity of these games. They are not for the faint of heart. One of the human athletes, a burly woman named Olga, snorted. Gravity? Good one. Don't worry, we can handle a little pressure. The alien delegation exchanged worried glances, their various appendages twitching nervously. Zixtal cleared his throat, or what passed for it. Perhaps a tour of the facilities is in order. The first event begins tomorrow, and we wouldn't want you to feel unprepared. As they followed the aliens through the station's winding corridors, Zora couldn't help but notice the looks they were receiving from other competitors. Some seemed curious, others wary, and a few downright hostile. They passed by a group of hulking creatures with rocky skin and glowing veins. One of them sneered, its voice like grinding boulders. So these are the famous humans. They look soft, weak. Before Zara could respond, Olga stepped up, cracking her knuckles with a sound like gunshots. Why don't you come over here and test that theory, Pebbleface? The rock being recoiled, clearly not expecting such a direct challenge. Its companions quickly ushered it away, casting nervous glances over their shoulders. Zixtal's antennae quivered with distress. Please, let's not have any altercations before the games even begin. We have a reputation for civility to uphold. Zara placed a calming hand on Olga's shoulder. Of course, High Coordinator, we're here to compete, not cause trouble. As they continued their tour, they came to a massive arena, its ceiling lost in the shadows high above. The floor was a patchwork of different terrains, bubbling lava pits, jagged ice fields, dense jungles, and more. This, Zixtal announced with a flourish of his spindly arms, is where the first event will take place, the multi-terrain endurance run. The humans exchanged excited glances. Deacon whistled low. Now that looks like fun. Zixtal's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation. Fun. I assure you, this course has claimed the lives of many experienced competitors. It is designed to push even the hardiest species to their limits. Zara nodded solemnly, though her eyes sparkled with anticipation. We appreciate the warning, High Coordinator. Rest assured, we've trained hard for this. As they left the arena, Zixtal pulled Zara aside. Captain, I feel I must be frank. Many here doubt your species' ability to compete at this level. Some even fear your presence may disrupt the games. Zara met the alien's gaze steadily. High Coordinator, I understand your concerns, but I promise you, we're not here to disrupt anything. We're here to compete, to learn, and to show the galaxy what humanity is capable of. She paused, a slight smile playing on her lips. And who knows, you might just be surprised by what you see. As the human team headed towards their assigned quarters, the station buzzed with speculation and rumors. The Galactic Games were about to begin, and for the first time in centuries, their outcome was far from certain. In the shadows of a nearby corridor, a pair of glowing eyes watched the humans depart. A voice like silk over steel whispered into a hidden communicator. They're here. Proceed with the plan. The stage was set. The players were in position, and the greatest show in the galaxy was about to begin. The first challenge. The station's artificial day cycle had barely begun when alarms blared through the human quarters. Captain Zara Chen was already awake, her life form moving through a series of stretches as she prepared for the day ahead. Rise and shine, team, she called out, her voice cutting through the groans and mumbles of her awakening crew. The multi-terrain endurance run starts in an hour. As the human athletes gathered in the common area, tension mingled with excitement in the air. Deacon, ever the picture of calm, was going through his equipment one last time. Remember, Zara addressed the group, her eyes scanning each face. We're not just running for ourselves today. We're running for Earth, for humanity. Let's show the galaxy what we're made of. A cheer went up from the assembled humans, drawing curious and wary looks from alien competitors passing by in the corridor outside. As they made their way to the arena, the station was abuzz with activity. Competitors from across the galaxy were converging, each species more bizarre than the last. Some floated on cushions of air, others slithered along on multiple legs, while a few seemed to phase in and out of visible reality. High Coordinator Zixtal met them at the arena entrance, his iridescent exoskeleton reflecting the harsh lights. Ah, humans, I trust you're prepared for what lies ahead. Olga, the burly athlete who had nearly started a fight the day before, grinned widely. Oh, we're more than prepared, sir. We're excited. Zixtal's antennae twitched in what might have been disbelief. Yes, well, the course has been specially designed this year. It should prove challenging for all species involved. As they entered the arena, the scale of the challenge became apparent. The massive space had been transformed into a nightmarish obstacle course. Pools of bubbling acid-bordered fields of razor-sharp crystals. Gravity fluctuated wildly from one zone to the next, while holographic predators stalked the shadows of a dense alien jungle. Competitors, take your positions. A booming voice echoed through the arena. The humans lined up alongside beings of all shapes and sizes. To their left, a group of ethereal creatures that seemed to be made of living light pulsed with anticipation. To their right, the rock beings from the day before glowered menacingly. On your mark. Zara felt her heartbeat quicken, adrenaline surging through her veins. Get set. She caught Deacon's eye, and they shared a quick nod. Go. The arena erupted into chaos. Beings of all descriptions surged forward, each adapting to the treacherous terrain in their own unique way. The light beings simply floated over the acid pools, while the rock creatures plowed through the crystal fields as if they were made of sand. But it was the humans who drew the most attention. With a grace and speed that belied their unassuming appearance, they navigated the course with almost preternatural ease. Zara led the charge, her movements fluid and precise. She leaped over acid pools, using momentum to carry her from one safe spot to the next. In the low-gravity zones, she bounded forward in great leaps, covering massive distances in seconds. Deacon wasn't far behind, his long strides eating up the ground. When they hit the jungle section, he swung from vine to vine like a modern-day Tarzan, easily evading the holographic predators. Olga, for her part, seemed to revel in the high-gravity zones. Where other competitors struggled to move, she powered through, her muscular frame barely slowing. From the viewing galleries, gasps of astonishment and murmurs of disbelief rippled through the alien spectators. "How are they doing that?" one being asked, its tentacles writhing in agitation. "It's impossible," another replied, all 7 of its eyes wide with shock. Their world can't possibly prepare them for all these conditions. In the VIP box, High Coordinator Zixtal watched the proceedings with growing unease. He turned to his assistant, mandibles clicking rapidly. This wasn't supposed to happen. They were supposed to struggle, to show their limitations. His assistant, a gelatinous being named Blob, burbled nervously. Perhaps we underestimated them, sir." Down in the arena, the humans continued to impress. When they reached a section of the course that required swooning through a viscous alien fluid, they adapted almost instantly, their bodies streamlined, cutting through the strange liquid with powerful strokes. "It's as if," Zixtal mused, his compound eyes narrowing, "as if they've trained for every possible scenario." As the race progressed, it became clear that the humans weren't just competing. They were dominating. One by one, they overtook alien competitors who had been favored to win. In the final stretch, a series of moving platforms over a chasm of swirling energy, Zara found herself neck and neck with one of the light beings. The alien glided smoothly from platform to platform, its form rippling with effort. Zara, her body glistening with sweat, her lungs burning with exertion, pushed herself harder. She timed her jumps perfectly, each leap bringing her closer to the finish line. In the last moment, she tucked into a roll, surging past the light being and crossing the finish line a fraction of a second earlier. The arena fell silent for a moment, then erupted into a cacophony of cheers, gasps, and exclamations in 1,000 alien tongues. Zara stood at the finish line, breathing hard but grinning widely as her teammates joined her. One by one, the humans crossed the line, all placing in the top percentile of finishers. High Coordinator Zixtal descended from the VIP box, his movements stiff with shock. This is unprecedented," he stammered. "Never in the history of the Galactic Games has a new species performed so admirably." Deacon supplied, a twinkle in his eye. "Extraordinarily," Zixtal finished, his tone a mix of awe and concern. As the humans celebrated their victory, hugging each other and laughing with pure joy, the alien spectators watched with a new perspective. The dismissive attitudes and sneers of the previous day were gone, replaced by looks of respect, curiosity, and in some cases, fear. In the shadows of the arena, the same pair of glowing eyes from the day before observed the proceedings. The silky voice whispered into its communicator once more. "Phase 1 complete. The humans have exceeded all expectations. Initiate Phase 2. As the humans were led away to the winner's podium, the air in the station crackled with a new energy. The Galactic Games had just taken an unexpected turn, and the entire galaxy was now watching to see what these newcomers from Earth would do next. The first challenge was over, but the true test was just beginning. Rising tensions. The aftermath of the multi-terrain endurance run sent shockwaves through the Galactic Games. Whispers and rumors spread like wildfire through the station's corridors, growing more outlandish with each retelling. Some claimed the humans had cheated. Others insisted they must be using advanced technology. A few even suggested that the Earthlings weren't truly organic beings at all, but highly sophisticated artificial constructs. Captain Zora Chen and her team, however, remained blissfully unaware of the storm brewing around them. They were too busy celebrating their victory and preparing for the next challenge. In the human quarters, Olga was regaling her teammates with a blow-by-blow account of her performance, her booming laughter echoing off the walls. "Did you see the look on that rock face's face when I lapped him in the high-gravity zone? Priceless." Deacon, ever the voice of reason, cut in. "Let's not get too cocky. That was just the first event. We've got a long way to go." Zara nodded in agreement. "Deacon's right. We made a strong first impression, but now all eyes will be on us. We need to stay focused." As if on cue, there was a sharp knock at the door. When Zara opened it, she found High Coordinator Zixtal standing there, flanked by a pair of stern-looking security drones. "Captain Chen." Zixtal's voice was clipped, his antennae twitching nervously. "The Games Committee requests your immediate presence." Zara raised an eyebrow. "Is there a problem, High Coordinator?" "That remains to be seen," Zixtal replied cryptically. "Please, come with me." As Zara followed Zixtal through the station's winding corridors, she couldn't help but notice the looks they were receiving. Alien competitors and spectators alike watched their passage with a mixture of awe, curiosity, and in some cases, barely concealed hostility. They arrived at a grand chamber, its walls adorned with holographic displays showing the history of the Galactic Games. Around a large, crescent-shaped table sat representatives from a dozen different species, each more alien than the last. At the center of the table sat a being that seemed to be made entirely of swirling, iridescent gas. When it spoke, its voice resonated directly in Zara's mind. "Captain Chen of Earth," the gas being intoned. "I am Grand Arbiter Exilvax. We have concerns about your species' participation in the games." Zara stood tall, her chin held high. "What kind of concerns, Grand Arbiter?" A hulking creature covered in bioluminescent fur leaned forward, its multiple eyes blinking in sequence. "You performed far beyond the capabilities we expected from a species of your technological level. How do you explain this?" "With all due respect," Zara replied calmly, "you seem to have underestimated us. We trained hard for these games, pushing ourselves to our limits and beyond." "Impossible," bellowed a being that looked like a sentient crystal formation. "No amount of training could prepare you for environments you've never encountered." Zara allowed herself a small smile. "You'd be surprised at the variety of environments Earth has to offer. More importantly, you've underestimated our ability to adapt." The room erupted into a cacophony of alien voices, each speaking over the other in a variety of chirps, rumbles, and telepathic projections. Grand Arbiter Exilvax pulsed brightly, silencing the commotion. "What the Council is trying to ascertain, Captain," Exilvax's mental voice was tinged with curiosity, "is whether your species has employed any prohibited enhancements or technologies." Zara's eyes narrowed. "Are you accusing us of cheating?" "Not accusing," Zixtal interjected quickly. "Merely investigating all possibilities. We're happy to undergo any tests or scans you deem necessary," Zara responded, her voice firm. "But I can assure you, what you saw out there was pure, unaugmented human ability." The council members exchanged glances, a silent communication passing between them. Finally, Grand Arbiter Exilvax spoke again. "Very well, Captain Chen. We will take you at your word, for now. But be aware that you and your team will be under close observation for the remainder of the games." As Zara left the chamber, she could feel the weight of the council's collective gaze on her back. She knew that the real challenge was just beginning. Meanwhile, in a shadowy corner of the station, a clandestine meeting was taking place. The owner of the glowing eyes that had been observing the humans finally stepped into the light, revealing a sleek reptilian form. "The humans have exceeded all expectations," the reptilian being hissed to its assembled cohorts. "They pose a greater threat than we anticipated." A hulking, insectoid creature chittered nervously. "What do we do? If they continue to perform at this level, it could upset the entire balance of power in the galaxy." The reptilian's eyes narrowed to slits. "We proceed with the plan, but we accelerate our timeline. The next event will be modified." Let's see how these humans handle a real challenge. Back in the human quarters, Zura briefed her team on the council meeting. Deacon frowned, his usually calm demeanor slipping slightly. So they think we're cheating. That's rich, coming from a bunch of aliens with natural abilities we can only dream of. Olga cracked her knuckles menacingly. Let them think what they want. We'll just have to show them what we're really made of in the next event. Just then, a holographic notification appeared in the center of the room. The next event had been announced. The Psionic Labyrinth. Zara read the description aloud, her voice growing more concerned with each word. Competitors must navigate a maze that constantly shifts based on their thoughts and fears. Physical prowess will mean little here. Only those with strong minds and indomitable wills can hope to succeed. A heavy silence fell over the room. They had trained for physical challenges, for hostile environments, even for zero-gravity combat. But this was something entirely new. Deacon was the first to break the silence. Well, folks, looks like we got our work cut out for us. Zara nodded, a determined glint in her eye. They want to test our minds. Fine. Let's show them that human willpower is just as formidable as our physical strength. As the team began to prepare for the mental challenges ahead, the station hummed with anticipation. The Galactic Games were about to enter a new phase, one that would push the human competitors to their absolute limits. And in the shadows, unseen forces continued to move their pieces into place, setting the stage for a confrontation that would shake the foundations of the galactic community. The games were no longer just about sport. They had become a battlefield, with humanity's place in the cosmos hanging in the balance. The final trial, the day of the Psionic Labyrinth Challenge, dawned with an air of tense anticipation. The human team gathered in their quarters, each member lost in their own thoughts as they prepared for the unknown. Captain Zara Chen paced the room, her usual confidence tempered by a hint of worry. All right, team, this is going to be unlike anything we've faced before. We can't rely on our physical training here. This is about mental fortitude, about facing our fears and overcoming them. Deacon, sitting cross-legged in a corner, opened one eye. I've been meditating, trying to clear my mind. Figure it might help in there. Olga snorted. Clear your mind. I'm going to fill mine with thoughts of puppies and sunshine. Let's see that maze try to scare me then. Despite the tension, Zora couldn't help but smile. The human ability to find humor in even the most daunting situations never ceased to amaze her. Whatever works for you, just remember, we're in this together. Even if we're separated in the labyrinth, we're still a team. As they made their way to the arena, they noticed the corridors were unusually quiet. The alien competitors they passed seemed subdued, some even looking at the humans with what could only be described as pity. High Coordinator Zixtal met them at the entrance, his exoskeleton a dull shade of gray. Humans, he said, his voice unusually somber. I feel I must warn you. The Psionic Labyrinth is not to be taken lightly. Many experienced competitors have been broken by what they've encountered within. Zara nodded, her jaw set with determination. We appreciate the warning, High Coordinator, but we're ready to face whatever's in there. As they entered the arena, they were met with a sight that defied explanation. Where before there had been a variety of terrains, now there was nothing. An endless, shimmering void stretched out before them, its surface rippling like disturbed water. Grand Arbiter Xylovax's mental voice echoed through the arena. Competitors, you will enter the Psionic Labyrinth one by one. You must navigate the maze created by your own mind, facing your deepest fears and most closely held secrets. The first to reach the center will be declared the victor. One by one, alien competitors stepped into the void, their forms shimmering and disappearing. Some reappeared almost instantly, stumbling out with looks of abject terror on their faces. Others seemed to wander for hours, their progress visible on large holographic displays floating above the arena. Finally, it was the human's turn. Zara stepped up first, taking a deep breath before plunging into the void. The world around her shifted and swirled, coalescing into a familiar scene. She found herself on the bridge of a starship, alarms blaring and crew members panicking around her. With a jolt, she realized this was her deepest fear: failing as a leader, being responsible for the deaths of those under her command. But as the ship rocked with simulated explosions, Zara steeled herself. "This isn't real," she muttered, closing her eyes and focusing on her training. "I am in control. I am the captain." When she opened her eyes, the chaotic bridge had been replaced by a calm, orderly one. Her imaginary crew looked to her with confidence, awaiting orders. With a satisfied nod, Zara moved forward, the scene dissolving around her as she progressed deeper into the labyrinth. Meanwhile, Deacon found himself in a vast, empty desert, the isolation threatening to overwhelm him. But he remembered his meditation techniques, focusing on his breath and the feeling of the ground beneath his feet. Slowly, he began to move forward, each step more confident than the last. Olga's experience was perhaps the most surprising. She found herself in a delicate china shop, surrounded by fragile objects. Her fear of her own strength, of accidentally causing harm, threatened to paralyze her. But then she remembered her own advice. With a grin, she filled her mind with thoughts of puppies and sunshine, imagining each delicate object as a sturdy toy. She moved through the shop with surprising grace, not a single piece breaking under her touch. As the humans progressed through their individual trials, the alien spectators watched in amazement. Where other species had crumbled under the weight of their own fears, the humans seemed to adapt, to overcome, to push forward no matter what horrors their minds conjured. In the VIP box, the games committee watched with a mixture of awe and concern. The crystal being leaned towards Xylvax, its voice a low whisper. "This is unprecedented. Their minds, they're so flexible, so resilient." Xylvax pulsed thoughtfully. "Indeed, it seems we have underestimated these humans yet again." Hours passed, and one by one, competitors either gave up or became lost in the twisting corridors of their own minds. But the humans pressed on, each overcoming their personal demons in their own unique way. As the event neared its conclusion, the holographic displays showed 3 dots, Zara, Deacon, and Olga, converging on the center of the labyrinth. In a final burst of mental fortitude, they pushed through their last obstacles, emerging into a brilliantly lit central chamber almost simultaneously. The void shimmered and disappeared, leaving the 3 humans standing in the center of the arena, breathing hard, but with triumphant smiles on their faces. The alien spectators erupted into cheers, their earlier suspicion replaced by genuine admiration. Grand Arbiter Xylvax floated down to the arena floor, its gaseous form swirling with what seemed to be excitement. Incredible. Never in the history of the Galactic Games has any species performed so well in the psionic labyrinth, let alone 3 members of the same team. Zara, still catching her breath, managed a respectful nod. "Thank you, Grand Arbiter. It was quite the experience." As the humans were led away to recover, the air in the station crackled with a new energy. The impossible had happened. A newcomer species had not only survived the psionic labyrinth but excelled in it. But in the shadows, the reptilian conspirator hissed in frustration. "This changes nothing. Initiate the final phase. It's time to show these humans the true meaning of fear." As the station celebrated the conclusion of another spectacular event, none could have guessed that the greatest challenge and the greatest danger was yet to come. The Galactic Games were about to take a dark turn, and humanity would find itself at the center of a cosmic storm. Aftermath and revelations. The station buzzed with excitement in the wake of the Psionic Labyrinth Challenge. Aliens of all species crowded the corridors, eager to catch a glimpse of the remarkable humans who had defied all expectations. Captain Zara Chen and her team found themselves at the center of a whirlwind of attention, fielding questions and receiving congratulations from beings they could scarcely comprehend. "It's like we're celebrities," Olga mused, waving at a group of awestruck alien youngsters. Think they'll make action figures of us. Deacon chuckled, but his eyes remained vigilant. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Something feels off. Zara nodded in agreement. The newfound adoration was a stark contrast to the suspicion they'd faced earlier. It was almost too good to be true. Their suspicions were confirmed when High Coordinator Zixtal approached, his exoskeleton shimmering with anxiety. Humans, he chittered, your presence is required in the Grand Chamber immediately. It's about the final event. The human team exchanged glances. They hadn't been informed of any final event. As they entered the Grand Chamber, they found it packed with representatives from every competing species. Grand Arbiter Xylovax hovered at the center, its gaseous form roiling with barely contained agitation. Captain Chen. Xylovax's mental voice resonated with urgency. We face a crisis of unprecedented magnitude. The final event of the Galactic Games has been sabotaged. A murmur of shock rippled through the assembled aliens. Zara stepped forward, her posture tense. Sabotaged. How? The holographic displays flickered to life, showing a massive spherical construct floating in space near the station. As Xylovax continued, this device was meant to be the stage for the final challenge, a test of cosmic navigation and piloting skills. But someone has tampered with its core. If activated, it will create a singularity that could tear this entire sector of space apart. Deacon's eyes widened. A black hole. Here. Precisely, Xylovax pulsed. We've evacuated most of the station, but someone needs to go in and deactivate it manually. Our best minds have analyzed the situation. And, well, Zara's eyes narrowed. Let me guess. You need humans for the job. The crystal being from the committee spoke up, its voice resonating through the chamber. Your species has demonstrated remarkable adaptability and problem-solving skills. You've overcome every obstacle we've placed before you. If anyone can save us, it's you. Olga cracked her knuckles. So, no pressure or anything. Zara turned to her team, her expression grave. This isn't a game anymore. The stakes are real. I won't order any of you to. Oh, save it, Captain, Olga interrupted with a grin. We're with you. Earth's at stake too, remember? Deacon nodded solemnly. Someone has to do it. Might as well be us. Within the hour, the human team found themselves aboard a sleek spacecraft, approaching the massive spherical construct. As they neared, the true scale of the device became apparent. It was the size of a small moon, its surface a maze of intricate patterns and pulsing lights. Remember the plan. Zara's voice crackled over the comm. We go in, navigate to the core, and shut it down. Simple. Yeah, simple, Deacon muttered. Just like a walk in the park. As they docked and entered the construct, they found themselves in a twisting labyrinth of corridors that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Gravity shifted unpredictably, and entire sections of the structure phased in and out of existence. But the humans pressed on, drawing on every ounce of their training and the experiences they'd gained in the Galactic Games. Olga's raw strength came in handy more than once, forcing open doors that threatened to seal them in. Deacon's calm logic helped them navigate the ever-changing maze, and Zara's leadership kept them focused and united. As they neared the core, they encountered automated defense systems and fiendishly complex puzzles. But for each obstacle, the humans found a solution, their minds working in perfect harmony. Finally, they reached the central chamber. A pulsing orb of energy hung suspended in the air, tendrils of power arcing out to the walls. That's it, Zara breathed. The core. We need to shut it down. But as they approached, a figure materialized before them, the reptilian being that had been watching from the shadows. Bravo, humans, it hissed, its eyes gleaming with malice. You've proven yourselves worthy adversaries indeed, but your journey ends here. Zara's hand went to her weapon. Who are you? Why are you doing this? The reptilian let out a cold laugh. I am Sulfar, representative of the Galactic Consortium. We've watched your species for some time, seen your potential. You were meant to be kept ignorant, confined to your little corner of the galaxy. But now you've forced our hand. Deacon's eyes narrowed. The games. They were never just about sport, were they? A test, Sulfar nodded, to see if you were ready to join galactic society. And you've proven yourselves too ready. Too adaptable. Too dangerous. Olga stepped forward, her fists clenched. So you destroy an entire sector of space just to keep us in check. That's insane. A small price to pay for galactic stability, Sulfar replied coldly. Now step away from the core. Your species will be remembered as tragic victims of a terrible accident. But Zara had heard enough. In a lightning-fast move, she lunged forward, catching Sulfar off guard. The alien stumbled, its concentration broken, and the humans seized their chance. What followed was a battle of wits and will as much as physical combat. Sulfar's advanced technology clashed with human ingenuity and teamwork. As Zara and Olga kept the alien occupied, Deacon worked feverishly at the core's controls. With seconds to spare, Deacon cracked the final failsafe. The core's pulsing energy began to fade, the tendrils of power retracting. Sulfar let out a howl of frustration as its plan crumbled before its eyes. As the crisis subsided, Grand Arbiter Xylovax's mental voice echoed through the chamber. It's over, Sulfar. Your conspiracy has been exposed. The Galactic Consortium will answer for this treachery. In the aftermath, as the humans were hailed as heroes across the station, the true implications of their actions began to sink in. They had not only saved countless lives, but had also irrevocably changed humanity's place in the cosmos. Grand Arbiter Xylovax approached Zora, its gaseous form shimmering with what seemed like respect. Captain Chen, on behalf of the galactic community, I extend our deepest gratitude and our most sincere apologies. Your species has proven itself not just worthy of joining us among the stars, but perhaps capable of leading us to a brighter future. Zara nodded solemnly. We're not looking to lead anyone, Grand Arbiter. We just want a fair chance to find our place in the universe. And you shall have it, Xylovax assured her. The Galactic Games have revealed not just your species' potential, but the flaws in our own society. Perhaps it's time for all of us to adapt and grow. As the human team prepared to return to Earth, now armed with the knowledge of their true place in the cosmic order, they knew that their greatest challenges and greatest adventures were yet to come. Zara gazed out at the star-filled expanse, a small smile playing on her lips. You know, she mused to her team, I have a feeling this is just the beginning. Deacon nodded, his usual calm demeanor tinged with excitement. A whole galaxy to explore, new allies to make, ancient mysteries to uncover. Olga grinned widely, and probably a few more aliens who need a good punch in the face. As their ship turned towards home, the humans carried with them not just victory, but hope. Hope for a future where humanity would take its place among the stars, not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals. The Galactic Games had been just the first step in a journey that would reshape the very fabric of the cosmos. The universe would never be the same again, and neither would humanity.